Once upon a time, Athens was governed by a good duke. His name was Theseus. He was merciful and abolished some bad laws. But he was not able to abolish one of them. According to this cruel law, a father had the power to choose the husband he pleased for his daughter. And if a daughter refused to marry the man chosen by her family, her father had the right to punish his disobedient daughter by putting her to death. One day, Theseus, the Duke of Athens, was preparing to marry Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, when an old man named Aegeus went to him and said,
"Noble Duke, I'm here because I have a disobedient daughter. Her name is Hermia. She doesn't want to marry Demetrius. I ask you for justice. She must accept my decision. There is a law which gives me this right."
That law is a cruel law, and it is seldom used. Tell us something more about your case.
Noble lord, my daughter Hermia refuses to marry Demetrius, a young man of a noble Athenian family. This is the man I have chosen as her husband.
Does she give any reason for her disobedience?
The reason she gives is that Demetrius is in love with her dear friend Helena, and Helena loves Demetrius too. But I don't think this is a good reason. I ask you, Theseus, for justice, and thanks to the law, Hermia will be obliged to obey my command.
Theseus was a merciful duke, but he had no power to change the laws of his country. So he called Hermia and said,
I cannot save your life if you don't obey your father's command. I'll give you 4 days to think about it. If at the end of this period you still refuse to marry Demetrius, you will be put to death.
Hermia was very sad because she was deeply in love with Lysander, and she was in a very difficult situation. Either to give up Lysander and marry Demetrius, or to lose her life in 4 days' time. She went to Lysander and asked for help. They talked and talked. Suddenly Lysander said,
My dear Hermia, one of my homes lives not very far from Athens, in a country where that cruel law has been abolished. Tonight, leave your father's house, set free. I'll wait for you in a delightful wood, a few miles outside the city. Then we'll go together to my aunt's house, where I will marry you.
Thank you, dear Lysander, for this great idea. I promise I'll be there.
Hermia did not want to talk to anyone about her plan of running away with Lysander, but when she saw her dear friend Helena, she wasn't able to keep the secrets and told her what she intended to do.
I want to tell Demetrius what Lysander and Hermia are going to do. I'm sure Demetrius will thank me for this.
The delightful wood, which was the meeting place of Lysander and Hermia, was also a magic place where those little spirits, known by the name of fairies, used to meet by moonlight. This magic kingdom of the fairies was ruled by Titania, the queen, and Oberon, the king. They usually held their dances there, but now Titania and Oberon were at war. This because Titania had a dear friend who died and left a little boy to a nurse. Titania stole the child from the nurse and brought him up in the wood herself. She became very fond of the child, and when Oberon wanted the child, she refused to give him to the king. This was the cause of their quarrel, and because of this disagreement, they never met in the magic wood, and when they met, they quarreled furiously. It was just on the night the lovers were to meet in this pleasant wood that Titania, walking with some of the fairies, met Oberon with his courtiers.
Welcome, Titania.
Look, it's Oberon! Fairies! Let's go away. I don't want to speak to him.
Just a moment, foolish fairy. I'm your king, remember. Give me that little boy. I want him to be my servant.
All your kingdom will not buy the child from me. Is that clear? Don't trouble me anymore.
Well, go your way before morning. I'll make you suffer for this offense.
Now, Oberon had lots of courtiers and servants, but his favorite was Puck. Puck, or as he was sometimes called, Robin Goodfellow, was a spirit who was very fond of playing tricks in the villages.
My name is Robin Goodfellow, but I am often called Puck. I'm a spirit and I live in the magic wood. I'm very fond of playing tricks in the villages.
Come here, Puck. Fetch me the flower called love in the idleness. The juice of that little purple flower land on the eyelids of those who sleep. We make them fall in love with the first thing they see when they wake up. I will drop some of the juice of the flower on the eyelids of my Titania when she has slept. When she opens her eyes, she will fall in love with the first thing she sees, even if it is a lion or a bear or a monkey. I can break this spell with another one, but first I will make her give up me that boy as my page.
Puck, who was very fond of these tricks, was quite pleased with this joke and ran to look for the flower.
Oberon was waiting for Puck to return when he saw Demetrius and Helena coming into the wood. He overheard Demetrius saying angrily to Helena,
"Go away. I don't love you. I love only Hermia. Don't follow me anymore. I cannot love you."
Dear Demetrius, your angry words make me love you more. I'm like a little dog. The more you beat me, the more I love you. Please, Demetrius, use me as your dog and let me follow you. But Demetrius became furious, and after the many unkind words on this part and gentle replies from Helena, who reminded him of his former love, he left her to the mercy of the wild beast. However, she ran after him as swiftly as she could. Oberon, who was always friendly to true lovers, felt great pity for Helena.
Poor lady, I remember when she came here by moonlight, and the young man was in love with her.
So, when Puck returned with a little purple flower,
"Take a part of this flower. There is a sweet Athenian lady here, who is in love with an unkind young man. If you find him sleeping, drop some love juice on his headlights, but she that you do when she is near him, so that the first things he sees when he awakes be this lady. You will recognize the man because he wears Athenian clothes."
I'll do it very cleverly.
Then Oberon, unseen by Titania, went to her resting place, where she was preparing to go to sleep. Her resting place, under a roof of climbing roses, was full of sweet odors and colored flowers. Her blanket was the shiny skin of a snake, which, though a small thing, was wide enough to wrap a fairy in. He found Titania, who was giving orders to her fairies.
"While I am sleeping, some of you must kill the worms that eat the rose buds. Some must make war on the buds, because I want to make a coat for my elves with their wings. Some of you must keep watch, because the noisy all must not came with me. But first, make me sleep with your songs."
Then the fairies started to sing their sweet melody.
Come not near, our fairy queen, Philomel with melody, singing our sweet lullaby. La 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 la, lullaby, la 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 la, lullaby. Never harm, nor spell, nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh. So good night with lullaby.
Slowly the queen fell asleep with this pretty lullaby, and the fairies left her and went to do what their queen had asked them: to kill worms in the roses, to take bat swings, and to protect their sleep from the owl. Oberon, then, softly came near his Titania, and dropped some of the love juice on her lids and said,
What you see when you wake up, do it for the tide, true love take.
In the meantime, Hermia and Lysander met in the wood. Hermia was running away from her father's house to avoid death because he didn't want to marry Demetrius. They started crossing the wood to reach the wood where Lysander's aunt lived. But Lysander noticed that Hermia was tired and he said,
My love, you look very tired, and to tell the truth, I can find a way in the darkness, so if you like, you can rest in the pleasant place of soft ground.
Yes, please, I will stay here, and you can find a place nearby.
Lysander found a place not too far away, and they soon fell fast asleep. After a while, Puck passed by and saw them. As the young man was wearing Italian clothes, and there was a pretty lady sleeping near him, he thought,
At last I have found the Athenian girls and their cruel lover. They are alone in the wood, so I am sure that when he awakes he will see her.
So, without delay, he poured some of the juice of the little purple flower on Lysander's eyes.
But Helena happened to come into the part of the wood where the lovers were sleeping. Helena tried to follow Demetrius when he ran away so rudely from her, but he ran faster than her, and soon she lost sight of him. While she was wandering about very sad and frightened, she arrived at the place where Lysander was sleeping. She recognized him, but she didn't know whether he was dead or asleep. Then she said, Lysander, if you are alive, wake up! When Lysander opened his eyes, he saw Helena instead of Hermia, and the power of the love charm was so strong that immediately all his love for Hermia vanished, and he fell in love with Helena. Poor Helena was surprised and said, But aren't you passionately in love with Hermia?
In love with Hermia? I hate the time I have spent with her. Not Hermia, but you, I really love passionately. You, Helena, have the beauty of the dove, and I would run through fight for you.
Helena knew quite well that Lysander was her friend Hermia's lover, and that he was engaged to marry her, so she became furious when she heard his words, because she thought that Lysander was making fun of her. The poor girl said, Oh, it's not enough that I can never get a sweet look or a kind words from Demetrius, but I also beat your insults. Saying these words in great anger, she ran away, but Lysander followed her, and left Hermia asleep, quite alone, in the wood at midnight. When Hermia woke up, she saw she was alone in the dark wood, and she was terrified.
In the other part of the wood, Demetrius, tired of searching for Hermia and Lysander, fell asleep. It was then that Oberon saw him. Oberon knew that Puck had put the love charm on the wrong person's eyes. Now, having found the right person, he touched his eyelids with the love juice, and Demetrius instantly awoke. The first thing he saw was Helena, and like Lysander before him, he began to make love speeches to her. While Demetrius was speaking so passionately to Helena, Lysander, followed by Hermia, made his appearance.
Demetrius, I know you love Hermia. Well, I want to break my engagement to Hermia because I love Helena, and I will always love her.
No, Lysander, keep your Hermia. Helena is the only person I love.
At these words, Helena became very sad because she thought that Demetrius, Lysander, and also her friend Hermia were planning together to make a fool of her.
Stop it! Stop this cruel game!
Why did Lysander leave me so unkindly? Why are Lysander and Demetrius, who were in love with me, now both lovers of Helena?
So the two ladies, who were dear friends, turned into enemies.
Unkind Hermia, you have joined Lysander and Demetrius in laughing at your poor friends. You have forgotten our friendship when we were at school. It is not kind of you to make fun of your poor friends.
I am really surprised at your words. I am laughing at you. It seems to me that you are laughing at me.
The two girls went on shouting angry words to each other, while the two young men went to find a place where to fight. So, again, the two ladies were alone, walking in the wood in search of their lovers.
Oberon, who was listening to their quarrels, called Puck and told him,
"This is all your fault, Puck. Was it on purpose? The lovers are looking for a place where to fight. I order you to feed the night with a big pot and lead the two angry lovers so far from one another in the dark they will not be able to find each other. Follow them until they are so tired that they fall asleep. Then drop the juice of this flower on Lysander's eyes. When he wakes up, he will forget his love for Helena and return to Hermia. Then two ladies may each be happy with the man she loves, and they will think that everything has been just an ugly dream. Go, run back, while I go and see what is happening to Titania."
In the wood where Titania was sleeping under a roof of roses, there was also a countryman. He got lost, and as it was dark and he was tired, he decided to find a place to sleep. His resting place was not very far from where Titania was sleeping. Oberon saw the countryman and said to himself,
"This man will be Titania's true love."
Then he went near the man and fixed a ass's head over his head. He did everything very gently, but the man woke up. He didn't know what Oberon had placed on his head, and went near the place where the fairy queen was sleeping. Suddenly Titania opened her eyes, and what was the first thing she saw? Just an ass-headed man, and she exclaimed,
What an angel I see! Are you as wise as you are beautiful? Please, stay here with me. I love you so much. My fairies will attend on you. Peace blossom, cobweb, moth, mustard seed. Come here, take care. This gentleman, give me grapes and apricots to eat. Steal for him honey from the bees. And you, sweet gentleman, sit here with me. Let me play with your hairy cheeks, my beautiful ass. Let me kiss your large ears, my gentle joy.
Scratch my head.
Here, sir.
How can you be so kind with an ass?
Once Oberon got a little boy, he took pity on Titania. He threw some of the juice of the purple flower on her eyes, and the queen recovered her senses and immediately hated the sight of the countryman. While the countryman was still sleeping, Oberon took the ass head on the man and left him still sleeping. Oberon and Titania were perfectly united once more. Oberon told her the story of the lovers and their midnight quarrels. Together, they went to see the end of their troubles. Oberon and Titania found the lovers and their fairy ladies at no great distance from each other, sleeping on the grass. Puck had brought them all to the same place, unknown to each other. Then he had removed the charm from the eyes of Lysander with an antidote.
Hermia woke up and saw Lysander asleep near her. While she was looking at him and thinking of his strange unfaithfulness, Lysander opened his eyes. He recovered his reason, which the charm had clouded, and with his reason he recovered his love for Hermia.
I can't understand what happened to me. Everything is so strange that it looks like a dream, a mad dream.
Yes, I wonder if these things really happen.
By this time, Demetrius and Helena were also awake. Helena was quite happy to listen to the words of love which Demetrius spoke to her. This time, to her surprise and pleasure, she began to see Demetrius' words were true. Helena and Hermia, now no longer rivals, became once more true friends. They forgot all the unkind words and started to plan what was best to be done in their present condition.
I think that now that Demetrius is in love with Helena, he could try to persuade my father to take back the cruel sentence of death which is passed against me.
Yes, that is a certainly reasonable plan. I want to talk with Aegeus, and I'm sure he will understand. Let's go to Athens.
All of them were ready to return to Athens for this friendly purpose when they saw Hermia's father, Aegeus. He had come to the wood in search of his runaway daughter. When Demetrius talked to Aegeus, the old man said,
"If you don't want to marry my daughter, I'll no longer oppose our marriage to Lysander."
Yes, and to celebrate that day when Hermia was to lose her life, I will be glad to marry my beloved and faithful Demetrius.
Oberon and Titania, unseen, were present at this conversation. They were so happy that they resolved to celebrate the marriages with sports and games through the fairy kingdom.